Coming up on Mountain News this morning, we'll take a look at the House budget that made it past the committee yesterday. And a new bill introduced this week wants to protect healthcare workers from criminal charges while on the job.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News this morning.
Good morning, I'm Olivia Calfee. The time is 6:30 on Thursday, February 1st. Now let's send it over to meteorologist Mace Michaels for a look at your forecast this morning.
Hey, Olivia, we're looking at sunshine for the day today. This morning, the skies are mostly clear. Temps aren't too bad, a little cool. Pikeville now at 33, and we have some 20s here to talk about as well. I should show you from Irvine to London and Manchester, Williamsburg to Jacksboro. That's where we have some 20s at this hour. Otherwise, it's a lot of 30s and even mid-30s from Pikeville to around Ashland. Again, the sky is mostly clear in most areas, and the radar is obviously dry with that clearing sky as the cloud cover from yesterday has zipped to the east. Just a few clouds hanging up along the West Virginia line. You look back west of us, like to see this. Dry and sunny weather ahead for us for the day. So as you head out the door, we'll start it off here again, upper 20s and low 30s in most spots, 50s for later this afternoon with all of the sunshine. Ahead, Olivia, it's much above average temperatures. More on that in a few minutes.
Mace, thank you. The House version of the state budget cleared the House Appropriations and Revenue Committee. The more than $120 billion budget includes increases in education, healthcare, and infrastructure spending, but it spends less than Governor Beshear's proposed $136 billion budget. Grayson Passmore heard from both Republicans and Democrats on some of the key issues.
Education was once again a key item on the $124.8 billion House budget proposal that passed through committee Wednesday. This proposal now includes amendments to add more funding for school transportation, which, according to Representative Jason Petrie, would be fully funded by fiscal year 2025 to 2026. Next, the proposed $6.4 billion investment into the state's SEEK funding increased by about $40 million over 2 years. The per-pupil figure would increase by 4% in the first fiscal year, then 2% in the second fiscal year, according to Representative Kim Banta.
Allowing local districts to utilize local revenues in other priorities areas such as increasing salaries, improving educational programs, addressing decreased enrollment, and strengthening core instruction to improve student academic outcomes.
Governor Andy Beshear's proposed budget suggested an 11% guaranteed raise for all school employees and universal pre-K. Some, like House Minority Caucus Chair Sherilyn Stevenson, say House Bill 6 still is not doing enough to help teachers or students.
It's definitely not going to bring our teachers up to what we consider a living wage, and many superintendents are actually saying at the end of the day they're going to be receiving less money altogether. So that's a huge piece. We were still sorely disappointed that there's no universal pre-K in this, and there's also not money for child care funding.
Both House Republicans and House Democrats say they expect continued lengthy discussions when the budget is brought to the House floor. At the Capitol, Grayson Passmore, WKYT.
Republicans say a separate bill puts nearly $1 billion into pension funds. It also provides $150 million for water projects. The budget chairman says more money could be added in separate bills. State Senator Chris McDaniels is proposing a constitutional amendment to limit the pardon powers of the governor. It comes after controversy caused by former Governor Matt Bevin. In his final days as governor, Bevin issued dozens of pardons and communications. Senator McDaniels previously filed the bill in 2020, but it did not pass. He says this time the bill will be filed as a constitutional amendment and would be added to the ballot for voters to decide on. Nurses and other healthcare workers would not have to worry about criminal charges for mistakes on the job if a bill passes the General Assembly. Kentucky lawmakers in the House Judiciary Committee advanced the healthcare worker immunity bill yesterday. It would include such things as accidentally giving a patient the wrong medicine, but it does still leave the door open for civil and other consequences for negligence.
Where they've been reckless, where people make intentional engage in intentional misconduct, surely they should be criminally culpable, and that this bill doesn't change that in any way. So we want to make sure in Kentucky that we codify, put in the statute that a nurse or any healthcare provider will not be won't be charged criminally for a mistake that they've made.
The bill easily passed with 18 yes votes, and 2 lawmakers chose to pass due to concerns about some of the bill's details. The bill is set to go on the House floor on February 8th, which is recognized as Nurses Day. A Boyd County man is behind bars after police found drugs on him during a traffic stop in Wayne County, West Virginia. Officials with the sheriff's office recovered a distribution quantity of meth, which was in the possession of Raymond Mills of Catlettsburg. Mills was charged with possession of intent to deliver methamphetamine. A London man is behind bars after police say he tried to resist arrest. The arrest happened Tuesday about 8 miles from London. Deputies with the Laurel County Sheriff's Office were investigating a stolen vehicle case when they came across 24-year-old Anthony Taylor. Deputies learned he had an outstanding warrant. Taylor faces multiple charges and was taken to the Laurel County Correctional Center. A Laurel County man is behind bars after police say he stole a welder from someone's truck at a hotel in Somerset. After deputies with the Pulaski County Sheriff's Office were tipped off about the incident, they went to a home in Somerset to ask where the man lived. Deputies later found and asked 24-year-old Eddie Ray Tincher about the welder, and he later admitted to the theft. He was taken to the Pulaski County Detention Center. A southeastern Kentucky man is behind bars after police executed a search warrant. Officers with Corbin and Barberville PD went to a home in the Woodbine community of Knox County Tuesday. Officers seized several ounces of suspected meth along with heroin, fentanyl, firearms, and cash. 30-year-old Harrison Hoskins was taken to the Knox County Detention Center. There is a new effort to legalize recreational marijuana across the Commonwealth. House Bill 420 was filed this week by Democrats Ketera Herron of Louisville and Rachel Roberts of Newport. It would allow Kentuckians 21 and older to use, purchase, possess, and consume cannabis. The bill would prohibit employers from discriminating against employees who use cannabis legally outside of working hours, so long as the worker's performance isn't impacted by marijuana use. The recent Kentucky Power rate increase has made having an energy-efficient home more beneficial than ever. And energy efficiency is one thing that the Housing Development Alliance focuses on as they build homes for low-income folks as well as flood survivors in the 4 counties it serves. HDA Executive Director Scott McReynolds explains some of the details that will be part of a new home being built for a flood survivor in Perry County.
We really focus on the thermal envelope of the house. That's just making sure the house is as airtight as possible and that the exterior is well insulated. And so in addition to using as much insulation as possible, we use a lot of caulk, a lot of glue. We actually frame with 2x6s instead of 2x4s so we can fit a little more insulation.
Aside from building energy-efficient homes, HDA will also add efficiency to homes through its home repair program. In the midst of child care funding issues across the Commonwealth, one Central Kentucky school system is offering low-cost child care for each of its employees. This is an issue Clark County Public Schools has worked to alleviate for its employees. The school's Chief Operations Officer, Brandon Watkins, says the Cardinal's Nest opened January 1st of this year. It's a low-cost child care facility for CCPS employees.
Had several teachers say this is a huge help to them. It's a reason that they want to stay in Clark County and continue to work for our school system.
Those with Clark County Public Schools say not only will this move give peace of mind to employees with young kids, but they hope it may inspire those kids who have been within the system for the majority of their lives to come back as employees. New studies show more parents may be turning to melatonin to get their children to sleep each night. A study from JAMA Pediatrics says about 20% of school-aged children take melatonin regularly. Assistant Professor of Pediatrics Angela Houchin says a lot of it has to do with children having poor sleep hygiene.
A lot of times the reason that kids can't fall asleep is they've been on screens the whole evening. And screens emit blue light, which prevents our bodies from releasing melatonin that we naturally make.
Houchin says there would not be a need for melatonin if parents forced kids to stick to a consistent sleep schedule. Dozens of young women are showing off their welding skills. The second Women of Welding competition is happening right now in Louisville. More than 60 students from school districts in Kentucky and southern Indiana are competing in this year's competition. All of the competitors are enrolled in welding programs at their high schools. Tuesday, Kentucky Lieutenant Governor Jacqueline Coleman visited the students and checked out the competition.
Well, I love that there are so many young women who are learning a skill that they can use for the rest of their life, a skill that they can use to build a fantastic career and to continue to evolve throughout their adult life. This is something that I would have never had the chance to do when I was in high school, and so to see them take advantage of this opportunity is really neat. The skills they have, the drive that they're showing through this competition is really inspiring, and I wanted to be here to help celebrate them and the work that they're doing today.
Competitors are judged on various projects that show off their welding skills. The competition wraps up on Friday.
Good morning in Pikeville this morning, starting off with temperatures in the low 30s and a mostly clear sky. It looks like it will be a gorgeous day here across the area. A few cool pockets this morning, but lots of sun and 50s for later this afternoon. Your wake-up temperatures from 25 in Jacksboro to 26 in Manchester. Hazard, we've now slid to 28. Jackson, you're waking up to 32. And Ashland, a smidge warmer there at 36, where there's still some clouds hanging up, but the radar is very quiet. Here's that cloud cover moving northeastward from yesterday as it continues to move on up into West Virginia. We will have this dry air, very quiet weather conditions back through much of the Ohio and Tennessee Valley. Rule our weather today. Happy to do so. More sunshine than clouds from the 30s this morning up into the 50s for this afternoon. The weekend looks pretty nice. Warmer weather ahead for us. I'll have all the details on that here straight ahead.
Thanks, Mace, and thank you for joining us. The time is now 6:42. Still to come on Mountain News this morning. The U.S. prepares to retaliate soon after 3 American service members were killed in a drone strike in Jordan.